Welcome to CUNY TV Presents COVID-19, a Crisis in Motion, a virtual town hall meeting. I'm Mike Gilliam. This is our fourth town hall, and we're looking to help our students. You know, this is normally a great time of year. Just last spring, CUNY graduated its largest class ever. More than 57,000 people got their degrees. In May, people are graduating and starting to look at careers. Others are getting ready to get out of the classroom and begin summer, maybe start an internship or a summer job to earn some cash, but not this year. The coronavirus has put the brakes on our economy and our lives. The numbers are staggering. 20.5 million jobs lost in April. The unemployment rate jumping to 14.7%, according to figures from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. 36.5 million people have filed for unemployment in just the last 2 months. It's a different job market than at any time in our lives. But it's not hopeless. There are some opportunities. We'll talk about them and how to prepare. Here to help us out, we have the Director of Sector Innovation at CUNY, Brandi Mandato. She knows the job listings and actually posts them. And we have some of the community partners she works closely with. Beck Sutler, Vice President for Workplace Development for the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation, and Johanna Meadows from the private investment firm Centerbridge are with us. And we have two students graduating from Hunter, Amelia Nygren, an international student from Sweden, and Chanel Thompson, a journalism major. Both are ready to join the workforce. Welcome to all of you. Now, this is normally a great time. This year, the graduation numbers aren't in yet, but there's a lot of uncertainty following the mid-semester switch to distance learning and changes to the calendar. Brandi, what are you telling students who are looking for work? What's out there?
Yeah, Mike, I think we've been talking with a lot of students recently, and what we've heard loud and clear is what they don't want to hear is inauthentic optimism. And so we're focusing on what we know. And a piece of what we know, you alluded to earlier, is that COVID-19 has had a devastating impact on the business community. And so many businesses, particularly small businesses, are still figuring out how to respond to this new normal. Accordingly, we've seen hiring pauses and rescinded internships. The National Association for Careers and Employers recently conducted a survey that showed us that about 20% of employers were either canceling or pausing internships. And that has a direct impact on our students. The good news is that CUNY has a community of business partners that are deeply invested in our students and are committed to attracting CUNY talent. And since this transition in March, the CUNY Career Success Initiatives team has really mobilized to respond to this crisis in a couple ways. I think one is doing everything we can to retain these opportunities for students. The CUNY internship program is a great example of that. This is a public sector internship partnership with public agencies in the city, where about 500 CUNY students are placed in internships. Of those 500 internships, we were able to retain 85% and convert those to remote opportunities. So that felt like a big win and the right path to go down. We also continue to develop new programming with our business partners. So launching a partnership with the Real Estate Board of New York to continue to provide opportunities for students to develop skills and get the qualifications they need for good jobs. We're seeing a shift in the jobs that are available. So while, as you mentioned, there is tremendous job loss, we're seeing companies in finance and tech and insurance announce longstanding and permanent shifts to remote opportunities. And that impacts CUNY students in a couple ways. It impacts CUNY students because in order to support that, there will need to be customer service roles, tools, and infrastructure to allow that to happen. That will include new roles. We also see an opportunity for CUNY students who are largely based in New York City and want to stay here to now have access to opportunities that historically were located in other locations.
Okay, great. I want to bring in the students right now. Chanel and Amelia, as you wrap up your college years, what's your number one thought? Chanel, you go first.
The the unknown part, the not knowing what's going to happen is what's driving me a little, crazy, because we're applying to these jobs, and because we're in a pandemic, you have to wait to, for someone to respond back to you. So it is a little difficult when, you're in the process of knowing what's going to happen. And now that, for me personally, I'm trying to be a news anchor or get at least in the news field, it's going to be hard, because that's a business where you are dealing with a lot of people. You're dealing with production, you're dealing with the on cast. So it's the unknown part of how would you produce a show, or how would you, be able to interview someone, or how would you meet someone? I know that we do the virtual the tours and the virtual meet and greets, but it's nothing like being in front of someone physically and seeing their demeanor, seeing their character. That's the only dilemma that I would have, is the unknown part of where are we going from here.
Amelia, how about you?
Yeah, similar to Chanel, I am worried about the virtual interviews because the in-person meeting is really important, and it feels very impersonal to just apply online and everything is fully online, because it makes such a big difference when you go in for an interview. Like, just getting the interview is hard, but then when you go in for an interview, it's so important to get that first impression. And I'm someone that really, I'm very extroverted, so I really like to meet people in person. And I am worried about that when it comes to Zoom meetings and those kinds of things, because energy is not the same. So
yeah, it's a different world out there when it comes to Zooming like this. Normally we would all be sitting together in a studio. We'd have a nice conversation, but this is a little bit different. We're having to get used to it. Brandi, any pointers for them on how to deal with the Zooms and all that?
Yeah, so I think this is sort of like asking for more wishes when you get 3 wishes. I would strongly recommend that you follow CUNY Works on Twitter and Instagram, where we're compiling feedback, recommendations from corporate partners, as well as career services and faculty from across the university. So there are so many tried and true methods for both preparing for virtual interviews, connecting and building your network, and taking care of yourself after so many Zoom meetings and all of the stress that accompanies this, so that you're ready for the next opportunity.
Katie, Johanna, jump in here. Would you like to piggyback on that?
I would have to say, I'm happy to talk a little bit more later about our work with CUNY students, but you're not alone in feeling that strange kind of not connected feeling. All of us in the finance industry and in other industries as well are having to be a little bit flexible in connecting to others on this online platform. So there are ways that I think you can use these platforms to your benefit too, right? You could continue to check in with potential mentors, potential managers. You could, suggest a Zoom meeting to say hello, but just know that you're not alone, and that some managers and mentors also feel the same way in doing work a little bit differently.
I wanted to pick up on what Chanel said about uncertainty, and also what Brandi said about being really realistic and honest. And I think that one of the things I've been thinking a lot about is how students can create some of their own opportunities while they also wait for things to reopen and the job market to catch up with the incredible talent that is available right now. And so I have been really encouraging students to find ways not just to find a traditional internship or a traditional job, but also look for other things to do, potentially collaborate with other CUNY students, to create something. Chanel, as a aspiring news anchor, how might you start to create your own opportunities to inform people without even needing that specific job opportunity, and look at that as a potential first step toward your long-term goals. And I just commend both of you. I know this is an incredibly challenging time, and I really admire the grace and optimism with which you're both approaching this.
Katie, are you talking about maybe developing a podcast or doing something online that you have ownership of, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We talk to employers a lot. We have 400 businesses at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Many of them are always looking for talent. And one of the things that increasingly we've seen them look for is not just what's on a student's resume, but also what's in their portfolio, for example. So whether I'm a mechanical engineering student making robotics projects, or I am a communications student who is trying to make podcasts or be a news anchor like Chanel, how can I create things that when I do walk into an interview, I can actually open a physical or a online portfolio and be able to show the employer what I've actually taken the time to create. And I think that that can be really, really valuable in this moment.
So I guess part of that is just get your foot in the door. That was always the case with broadcasters as I was entering the business. You want to get in there. And it might not be the optimum job that you want. My first job was running the teleprompter, but you may get your foot in the door and someone will recognize your talent and help you along a bit.
Yep.
Brandi, what types of jobs are you showing now as far as listings?
I think it varies across sector. The good news is that we continue on a regular basis to work with the business community and get active leads every day. And we share those through our weekly opportunities email on Wednesday mornings. Those are connections and opportunities we have with companies, again, who are targeting CUNY talent and are really invested in hiring from the university. One of the initiatives I'm working on right now is the contact tracing initiative for New York State and New York City. So we're obviously seeing a number of jobs in that area, many of which are remote. We're seeing increases, so of course, as I mentioned, across healthcare. We're also seeing additional roles in the tech sector, and sometimes hybrid roles that are in the tech sector but don't require hard tech skills or may require some credentialing. But there are certainly job leads available. And again, we're sharing those out centrally, but Career Services across the university continues to partner in really meaningful ways with industry to provide opportunities for students.
Okay. Johanna, I wanted to get you to talk a little bit about some of the things that Centerbridge is doing in conjunction with CUNY and the people who are interested in finance.
Sure. You know, we at Centerbridge are really proud of our partnerships with CUNY, with Career Success Team. We have a couple of different ways in which we partner with them. But one of the reasons why we continue to do so is that, you know, we really see tremendous talent, value of the talent of students in our backyard. And so we are going into the third year of what we call our Investment Industry Fellowship. This is a program that has about 3 parts to it. We bring in students who are really interested in the finance sector, who want to learn more. Sophomores and juniors come for that one part, which is the workshops, monthly workshops, over a 9-month time, where they learn from Centerbridge employees about the finance sector. The second part is the mentorships. We pair each CUNY student, fellow in this program, with a mentor at Centerbridge or at one of our partners, part of the program as well. And those mentorship relationships are extremely important. The mentors help guide our fellows throughout the 9-month workshop process, but also as they're getting ready for their summer internships and career journey. And the third really important component of this work is creating this cohort of students. The students represent schools from across the CUNY system, which we are happy about, but they all have the same interests to somehow get into the finance industry, learn about the career path there. And so in essence, they've created their own social and career focused network through the programming. Our goal, of course, is for each of our fellows to get summer internships in the summer in the finance industry. We've pivoted, the past couple of months during this COVID crisis to bring these workshops online. And I would say that we have been not at all surprised, in fact, but it's just kind of doubled down our thought of how talented and resilient a lot of these CUNY students are, because these online workshops have gone great. We've had case study presentations from them. We closed out our final one in May. And we just opened our selection process for the third cohort, and we have a lot of great applications coming in, and we hope to see about 20 to 25 fellows join us in September. If it's virtual, we'll continue to go on because we really care deeply about our commitment to CUNY, and the COVID crisis will not change that whatsoever.
How does a person get in contact with those fellowships? How would a person apply?
Brandi's team. Reach out to the career success team or your career services team at your school. And I'd also say one other thing that we're doing that we're really proud about as well is we partner with Bain Consultants right now. I'm the director of the Centerbridge Foundation, so what we do is we provide funding to their career success team to work around thinking through the best ways we can support students, not just during this time, but we actually started this before COVID came in, to support students when they graduate CUNY. The Bain team comes in and has provided pro bono support for career success around how do they invest in career success across all colleges. They were there during the COVID crisis in March, so they've been able to pivot and support the team in best positioning students to accelerate into the recovery and understand what this impact is on jobs, so then Brandi's team can continue to serve them better. So it all goes back to this career success team and your career services team at your schools, who will be learning a little bit more about these great initiatives. And I'm sure that finance, as Brandi has said, is not the only one that wants to continue to partner with CUNY and to meet and engage with talented students.
Okay. Katie, I've always been really fascinated and impressed by the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So many different businesses there and different types of businesses. What is like 400 businesses there, I guess, right?
400, yes.
Yeah. So what kind of opportunities are you seeing there? Are there some opportunities?
Absolutely. And we, if anything, consider this a moment really to double down on our relationship and partnership with CUNY. So for those who may not know, the Brooklyn Navy Yard is a 300-acre piece of land owned by the city where we have a business ecosystem of about 400 businesses, mainly within the industrial sector. And so our mission is creating jobs within that sector and connecting local residents to the economic opportunities that exist. But to your point, Mike, the industrial sector is really broad, and we include things in that like food, fashion, robotics, advanced manufacturing, media. And so there are tons and tons of opportunities within our companies. We normally, before COVID-19, run a different set of internship programs, all of which have a major focus on CUNY students. And so when this particular crisis hit, we actually already had 25 CUNY students in spring internships supporting our businesses. They were able to quickly transition from in-person internships into remote internships, and were able to continue to support their businesses, which was vital at a time that these businesses were really scrambling in many, many different ways. And I actually want to give one example of a student named Leo, who was a student from City Tech, was interning with one of our businesses called G-Create. It's a 3D printing company. During this COVID-19 crisis, G-Create has shifted to trying to use experimental ways to manufacture PPE. And Leo actually got a permanent job offer from G-Create in the midst of all of this to continue his internship on. We're going to try to continue to replicate that this summer. We normally have about 90 interns on the Brooklyn Navy Yard, predominantly CUNY students. This year, due to budget challenges, we are only going to have 30, but it was very important to us to continue investing in this program, even if at a smaller scale. And so our students this summer will be matched with still small businesses that really need them at this moment. And we see CUNY students as an incredible source of talent to come in, work side by side with entrepreneurs in whatever the sector is that CUNY student is studying, to really help businesses weather this. And right now we're talking to Brandi's team about how we can continue that model to think about some sort of program over the upcoming year that matches recent CUNY graduates with small businesses, because we think businesses are going to need a lot of support, a lot of innovation, a lot of fresh thinking. And from everything we have seen in our partnership with CUNY, that is always what CUNY students are able to bring to the table. So we're very committed to continue to see a very strong pipeline of CUNY students into the very diverse sets of businesses at the Navy Yard.
Okay. Students, do you have other questions for our panel? Okay, Chanel?
Well, that definitely covered my questions of the unknown part. What can you say to students who possibly don't know where they may go, what would you say to students who are undecided, that don't know possibly where they should major in, especially now during this difficult time? Maybe they had something in mind of, let's say, computer science or something that where you deal with being in a computer lab and stuff like that. So what do you say to students who might shift to something else or unknown or don't know what to do with their majors?
Kind of a reevaluation.
Yeah.
Chanel, I think that's such a great question. One of the things that we're passionate about, and I know that Brandi's team is passionate about as well, is opportunities for work-based learning and industry engagement. And I always get most excited talking to students who have really tried to, I think of it as prototyping. So a major is a big thing to embark on, whether it's your first choice or you're making a new choice. And so as much as possible, if students can try to dip their toe and see what actually would this look like if I was in the workplace, that can be attending a webinar with people who work in the area. It can be getting in contact with someone over LinkedIn and trying to arrange a one-on-one 15-minute meeting to just pick their brain and understand what their day looks like. It can be micro internships or projects that I know Brandi's team is trying to design and work on. But I think the more students can really taste what day-to-day in an industry would look like and hear from industry folks about where they see the next 10 years going, they'll be able to make a better decision. I think that was true before COVID-19 and probably even more true now.
What is micro internship? Because I've seen it around on CUNY's career services Instagram and things like that. So could you maybe explain what a micro internship is?
Brandi, you want to take that one?
Sure. So it's a short-term project-based opportunity to work usually collaboratively with an employer partner or on behalf of an employer partner to solve a challenge. And again, like to learn more about those and about opportunities that are available right now, definitely go to CUNY Works at Twitter and Instagram. So everything we've been talking about today, we want to make this as accessible as possible and make sure that you can get your hands on it and really dig into these opportunities, both based on your area of interest and as you're exploring different opportunities or thinking about how you may want to pivot based on our current economic reality.
Okay, great. Some very good advice there and a few nice opportunities during tough times. Now, I want to switch gears now and bring in Dr. Bruce Y. Lee. He's an expert from the CUNY Coronavirus Task Force and a professor of health policy at CUNY's Graduate School of Public Health and also health policy. Bruce, thanks for joining us. Are you there?
Yep, thanks for having me, Mike.
Well, good to have you on. Now, you've been taking part in a weekly survey for the last 8 weeks, looking at how New Yorkers are feeling and what they're thinking in the midst of the pandemic. To me, New Yorkers seem to be a little bit more optimistic right now. What'd you guys find out?
So some of the latest questions is the perceived risk of COVID-19 infections and what New Yorkers felt about returning to some of their previous pre-pandemic daily activities. So 65% of respondents said that they would make a routine doctor's visit on June 1st, but 7% said they would wait until a vaccine is available. And 48% said they would take part in recreational activities like going to the beach or a park, again on June 1st, but then again, 18% said that they would wait until a vaccine is available. And then 46% mentioned going to a hairdresser, 31% mentioned going to a gym, 31% mentioned going to a restaurant, and 23% talked about going to a theater. So you have some folks who are feeling a little more confident about going back to some of these daily activities, but there is a sizable percentage that wants to wait, and then there's also a percentage that would wait until a vaccine is available.
Did you find out that people would go back to restaurants and gyms, that they would get out at all really without a vaccine?
So yeah, with gyms, 31% would said that they would return after June 1st. 49% said more August, December, and then 20% said they would wait until a vaccine is actually available. And for restaurant dining, 31% said by after June 1st, 55% between August and December, and 14% said they would wait until a vaccine is available.
Bruce, thank you very much. And I want to thank all of our guests, the Director of Sector Innovation at CUNY, Brandi Mandato, and two of the community partners she works with, Beck Sutler, Vice President for Workplace Development for the Brooklyn Navy Yard Development Corporation, and Johanna Meadows from the private investment firm Centerbridge, and our two students, soon to be alumni, Amelia Nygren and Chanel Thompson. Thank you all. For more information on all of the opportunities that we've discussed, visit these websites. That wraps up this special, COVID-19, A Crisis in Motion. I'm Mike Gilliam. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.